Welcome back.
Thank you, Dave. Now,
There you go.
you may be wondering why I haven't called.
Speaking of that, let me just...
It's not that often you do a purely sight gag, so I should feel privileged. Yeah?
Well, now tell me all about this. We see in the picture, the newspaper, it happened at a hotel. It's 4 in the morning. You're trying to call Australia. Is that pretty much what went on there? What was the problem?
Well, look, just now that if you've given me the opportunity, I'm extremely sorry for this whole incident, and I regret everything that took place. And, you know, I've apologized to my wife. There's not many things that scare me in this world, but I'm absolutely terrified of disappointing her.
Right.
And
your son. You have a son now as well, right?
yeah, little Charlie.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he's not old enough to quite understand what's going on.
Yeah. Now, this sort of thing has happened in the past, maybe not to this extent. Is that correct?
New York. Yeah, no doubt. But this is the only one that I was involved in.
I see. But do you have trouble controlling your temper?
I have, yeah, I do.
Yeah. See, I used to have the same problem.
But at the same time, I also have, in the moment, infinite patience, you know? So it wasn't just a thing that had come up. You know, we've had 9 rooms in that hotel over a period of 7 days, and everybody was having the same problems. And, you know, you know, without getting into the detail of it, bottom line is, you know, I did something really stupid, and don't wish to ever repeat that again. And you know, actually, while we've got the moment, you know, I would understand that right at the moment that Nestor and his family would be under a great deal of pressure, and I'd like to apologise to them directly for that as well.
These are the people involved in the incident?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's very gentlemanly of you. Now, what will you do? You say you regret it and you don't... What can you do to keep something like that from happening again? Because frustrations of life is life.
Ritz-Carlton, and you get a better telephone system.
That's
Silly old me should have thought of that at the time.
Well, I see. Now, but they hauled you away. You went to the pokey. They put you in jail, right?
Yeah, and you know, I had some experiences that I really do not wish to ever repeat in my life. But, you know, I tell you, you know, the NYPD were, you know, treated me very, you know, as nicely as they could in the circumstances.
Right.
And...
had you ever been arrested and locked up before?
not in the United States of America.
Yeah.
It's all very deep and dark chasm from this point in time, you know.
Now, when a person of your stature and high profile is locked up and taken away, what is that experience like? Does that help or does that hinder while you're incarcerated? Were the police, you say they were very nice to you. What about other people that you might have encountered?
What I was actually saying to them, was that they you know, they obviously did everything correctly.
Yeah.
But you know, I really respect for the fact that they, you know, were very humane about it, you know, when they might have taken it a different way.
Right.
You know, obviously, when I react to something, it has a great effect, apparently, you know, because, you know, it's the Gladiator getting pissed off, you know, or whatever, you know. It's not just the simple bottom line of I'm, you know, a tourist, I'm a guest in your country, I'm, you know, trying to fulfill my basic obligations to my wife, who needs to know that I'm, you know, at home, I'm in bed, I haven't had too much to drink, and that, you know, primarily important that I'm alone, you know, as these are questions that every wife has the right to, you know, have answered every night, and that's my duty. So, you know, and you know, the time difference is really rough, Dave. If I miss out on calling her at that time, then there's a 20-hour cycle before I can call her again, and she's going to be wondering that whole time what I'm doing and who I'm with, and she wants to know, and I try and respect that.
I understand that. And I would think in this case, being in prison would probably put her mind at ease.
was trying to flatline that one, but I went too hard.
Doesn't have to worry about a thing.
She knew exactly where I was.
That's right.
You're dead right. You know, and look, I've got some friends in this town because I've been coming in and out of New York for quite a long time, and people like Tommy Cronin at the NYPD, you know, made a few calls and you know, just simplified things, you know. And
now, will you have to come back? Will there be a trial as a result of this?
I really don't know what happens from this point on.
Yeah. And is there likely that this carries a jail sentence? I mean, the charge was... Oh, my God. Well, you might go to jail for a longer period of time. Has that sunk in?
This is possibly the most shameful situation I've ever got myself in my life, and I've done some pretty dumb things in my life. Yeah. So to actually make a new #1 is spectacularly stupid, you know? Right. And, you know, it's my thing, man.
How can we change? How can we change behavior? You say you can sort it out. I mean, how will you do that now? Because I know that changing human behavior is the most difficult thing a person can do. To change the way a person is. That's the hardest thing in the world to do.
I don't think it's necessarily a matter of change. It's a matter of emphasis, you know. And you know what I've done in the last week with my schedule and where I've flown. I mean, I was in Manchester, England you know, I flew there on Friday and I flew back to New York on Sunday. You know, I've just got to cut myself some slack. I'm just getting used to being a husband and a father away from home, you know, and it's that's the level of abject loneliness I'm just not used to at all. And you know, if I could change this in any way, if I could turn it around, then I would do that, you know, and hopefully at some stage I'll be able to you know, apologize directly to Nestor, but at the moment he's not answering his phone.
Well, it's very nice of you, one, to be here. Nobody expected that you would show up. And nobody would have blamed you for coming if you did not come on the show after what happened earlier in the week. So thank you very much. And good luck changing that behavior. And I understand stress and being away from your family.
But as my wife says, you know, that's not really much of an excuse because millions of fathers and husbands travel for business, you know, all the time. But you know, as I say, I'm just new at it, and I'll, you know, actually, quite frankly, Dave, I hope I never get used to it. I don't want to be away from my family like this.
Your son is now about 1.5 years old. Is that what it is? 17 months. 17 months. Oh, that's exciting. My son is also 17 months.
Harry, I hear.
Harry is right. Yes.
Yeah. So it's cool. Not a you know, blue sky sort of Leaf River entertainment sort of Fifi Trixabelle amongst us, a Charlie and a Harry. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You mentioned your son. He's 1.5 years old. Tell us what that experience is like. I mean, I kind of know now what it's like. Tell us what
has your boy started talking?
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's 17 months.
Older, right?
17 months.
Oh, he's exactly the same?
Yep.
Wow. Yep. Yeah, it's just fascinating. And you're trying to explain to people the joy that you get when your son points at a seagull, looks at you and says, duck. And you go, mate, that's okay. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's a good start, you know. But now, later on, we'll get in the divisions of birds and how there's lots of different flighted animals and stuff, you know, winged creatures. Yeah. But you know, the gag I've been making lately is that I went just very recently from being just simply a point of affection to becoming the most efficient public transport system that he has available.
That's right.
You know, because you get the and you go, man, you just pick him up, put him in your arms, he goes, there.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's, right. And you realise that sort of like he's already worked out that, you know, Dad can carry me for longer.
Yeah. You know? Wherever I want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, door-to-door service. But just, and the birth of the child must have been represented a huge change for you physically, and not physically, emotionally. Yeah,
oh, that's good. That's good. Now, come on, if you applaud, he's going to be able to get out of it too quickly. No, my wife actually gave birth. We made a deal at the beginning, and we flipped the coin. Right, you know, we did all that.
You might handle the next one. You never know. But just in terms of walking through life with this additional responsibility, kind of reflecting on what happened earlier in the week, that must prey on you tremendously, as you mentioned, and be sort of a rudder to steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, but isn't it ironic that I was simply trying to fulfill my duties as a husband? Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the movie.
Yeah. You know, you were at the Indianapolis 500. How did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed it a lot. And
Had you been before?
Patrick, pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, she's
and
wonderful.
you probably would have noticed that during the pre-race interviews, she was my pick. Number 16, won 6, number 7, luckiest number in the world. Well done. It was a great experience. You know, hell of a noisy.
Yeah.
And next time I'll make sure that I bring my own ear protection, because I was kind of relying on people. It's like standing behind a jet engine as it's being warmed up, you know, continuously. But the crowd, the excitement, and the beauty of that race course on that particular day, you know,
it was lovely.
flying is just so pretty. You know, I've never seen a cleaner racetrack, and I said that to a number of people, and they were sort of a bit surprised. But you know, I've been to speedway tracks and stuff like that, and it's just. That was really well laid out and very beautiful. 400,000
people in that one facility, in that one complex. Yeah.
And the stealth bomber flying over
it was
the
pretty
top.
cool.
It was pretty full.
They put on a nice show. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Anyway, the movie that I've got coming
now,
up.
I was Cinderella Man, a true story.
You got a double eraser pencil?
Yes, I do.
Right. Okay. And how do you go with notes and stuff with that?
You know, it's interesting, and maybe you'll appreciate this. I used to, when I would get excited, I would throw these.
Oh.
And it was a lot, ow, oh! And so we went to the double eraser.
Super safety pencil.
It's a super safe. You can throw them all day.
Safety pencil, that's wonderful.
We get interns down here and have target practice. But anyway, it's a true story, a great hero, but what I was taken by was, since I told the audience did not live through the Great Depression, the depiction, the representation of life in the Great Depression. Oh my God, it was everything we were told it was.
Well, I believe it's certainly Ron Howard's best movie. It's his best piece of work to date. You know, every film he does, he matures a little bit more and can trust his material a little bit more. I think it's a timely reminder to Americans that abundance isn't something that you should assume as your right.
Right.
A couple of generations ago, this country was in deep financial straits, and it took people with the strength of character like James J. Braddock and his wife May, who are, you know, simple folk but hard-working, who put the needs of their children first to get the country back on its feet.
And now we've become such sissies. You know, if honestly, this country is full of sissies. If the cable goes out, you know, we just whine and whine and whine. And in those days, literally, there was no food to put on the table or the plate. And in James Braddock's family, he had 3 kids that they had to take care of, and they had no money coming in. And they weren't alone. Millions and millions, 15 million people were out of work.
Yeah, and the thing is you know, Brad, the story that we tell is about a family who survives the Depression.
Right.
But millions of people didn't.
Right.
Millions of people couldn't actually take that drop in self-esteem, that drop in wages, and what it took to get back out of it. So Braddock's example, that's probably why he was the zeitgeist figure in the moment that he won the World Championship.
And where does that come from? Where does that desire to actually endure and then survive come from? Because not everybody has that.
Well, you know, he has an Irish American background, James J. Braddock, so he had a family that was used to the hard scrabble streets, you know, and you know, I think it was the depth of love for his wife and for his family that pushed him through. I mean, he never seemed to me, from anything that I read, that he never seemed to me to be boxing for the sake of boxing. You know, he saw it as, you know, in its time, it was the best working class man's job you could get. It was the highest paying if you could handle it, if you could tough it out, and if you had the heart for it, you know. And that's why he was doing it. You know, he did it initially because it was the best job going, and then by the time, you know, the film takes place, it's the only thing that he can do to keep his family together.
Yep. The circumstances made people better and tougher, I think. Don't you believe?
I think the vast growth in America post that period of time, the gigantic political figure of FDR, you know, I think the things that he put in place, the social welfare reforms that were put in place in that period of time, you know, it may have been a dark period of time for America, but it was the light that still shines right now.
Right. What do we have here? This is a CD of you. This is you singing, and what is it, performing? What is the CD?
It's an album called My Hand, My Heart, produced by a Canadian fella called Alan Doyle, who's from the band Great Big Sea. It's just a collection of songs and observations, and it's available on iTunes. It's never going to be probably a traditional release you can buy in a store, but you can go and download it from iTunes, and there's a website, myhandmyheart.com, which has all the song lyrics and also the stories behind the songs.
Good, very nice. Now, tell folks what we're going to see in this scene from Cinderella Man.
Well, Jimmy, at one stage in his career, was 21-0, and he was a very successful boxer. So, you know, the thought of losing never would really occur to the family. But over time, you know, and a series of bad luck and, you know, incidents that happened, you know, with the social structure as well, his record got significantly worse. So what you're seeing here is a moment where he's come back home to greet his family after they've been used to him losing for years. And so he's, you know, a dad. He's got 3 kids, and he plays the moment out for them.
Russell Crowe, Cinderella Man. Take a look. Very cute. Cinderella Man in theaters now. Good to see you, Russell.
Thanks, mate.
Good luck to you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much for being here. Russell Crowe. We'll be right back with Paul Rankin, everybody.